It's the weekend, and I'm not prepared to put my boots on yet. You got, actually, currently experiencing some rain. We got about 4 inches of snow last night, and now I have snow in my Crocs. Left my key in the ignition last night, so I can't start the truck from inside. So, let's see. Current weather check. We got about 4 inches of snow last night. Turned into sleet and ice rain, and now we're getting a pretty good amount of rain. I'm gonna work on getting this warmed up now. Thermostat set to 72. It's currently 35 in here. So I'm gonna just test this and see how it goes. The cot works out pretty well. I got the heater running in here. The cot, I just touched my head on the roof. Luckily it's carpet though. It's nice and comfortable in here. Haven't set up my bedding yet. When I was loading everything up earlier, I got everything a little wet from when I opened
Hey there.
Hi.
How's it?
From when I opened the door, got the bed a little bit wet, so that's the only flaw so far I've noticed. Got this cool idea. Andy, open that. Andy just came up with this. So this truck has the tailgate, old man step. We opened up the little arm thing. Now I can open up the tailgate without struggling and close it.
Henry Ford.
Thanks, Henry Ford. But pretty nice in here. Shut the door. Heater. It's now 40 in here. I ended up putting it on low because we do have each truck has a little ceramic heater, a little 1500 watt heater. So we want to make sure that we're not putting too much draw. We have it spread amongst plugs, but we want to do this test now and make sure that we don't blow a circuit or something rather than in the middle of the night. I keep updating on the weather because we have a bit of a weather change coming. So eventually it's going to get super windy and it's going to be a low of like 7 degrees Fahrenheit tonight. So this will be our first test for truck camping, for me at least. They've both camped in their trucks before, and you can kind of see out good enough. Like I said in the last video, these windows are tinted, so from the outside you can't see in so well. But it's pretty nice in here. And this heater doesn't get too hot, or it doesn't get hot at all up here. It is an infrared heater, so it heats a little differently than like a quartz heater. It doesn't get blazing hot. It's more of a forced air over coils. And 41, still getting up a little higher. I'm gonna let this get a little warmer in here before I do any wiring. I have my battery box here. I've made multiple videos on building this box, and originally I built it for ice fishing, but here in Southwest Michigan we have no ice and have not had ice yet. So I'm going to get this hooked up. It's up to 13 volts. I can charge my phone, my cameras, anything like that off of this. And then I also have a nice LED light hooked up to that. My goal is to hook up those strip lights to somewhere in this cap. I don't think I'm going to hang them yet because I want to see how they work first, but there's actually a spot here that is more of a lip that you can screw upwards very little bit if you have the right screws, which I don't. So I'm going to do a little temporary thing and wire lights in kind of just along that side. So I'm going to do it on 2 switches, that way you can turn on the front and the back, and then eventually I'm going to wire all that into the truck itself, because I haven't wired the truck cap yet, so I don't have a high center, the third brake light yet. And then this actually came with a nice little LED light that's got a switch on it, so whether the truck is running or not, you can reach up and flip that switch on and have a little bit of light in here. But I want a lot of light because I plan on filming in here. I don't plan on doing too much cooking in here. I know that a lot of people with truck camp setups, they cook inside their cap and stuff. This time I don't plan on doing that, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to ever. So one more check on this. It's already 42 degrees in here, started out at 35, so we're looking pretty good. I'm pretty confident in that. I don't know if I'm going to keep this, but it's pretty handy. It's almost effortless. This is a heavy tailgate. It's not one of those fancy assisted tailgates, so this does definitely come in handy. So I'm going to let this thing warm up, and then we'll get to wiring. Well, I just had the tailgate open for a little while, and it's already 50 degrees in here. Took my boots off, let my feet warm up. It's getting pretty cold out. The wind's picking up. So I'm going to start wiring that stuff. Now I have these lights that I got off of Amazon. They sold in a pair for $12, something like that. They're meant to run off of a 12-volt system. So I'm going to wire these to the battery box for now. Nice little LED strip light. They come with these little mounting tabs that you can take off, screw on, and then clip back to the bottom of it. And they also come with a 2-sided like sticky tape adhesive piece. So I'm not going to use any of that this time. I'm just going to wire these to just kind of sit on the bed rails. So I'm going to have one here, and then put one up here somewhere, and then the opposite side up here. Eventually I'm going to run these and wire them to the truck, but for this weekend I'm just going to put them to the battery box itself. So battery box is all hooked up. I brought these load wires for the battery box. They come with an inline fuse that's good for, I believe, 15 amps, which is way more than what we need for 4 LED lights. I think they're only like 12-volt lights, so, or 12-watt lights. So I'm gonna get to wiring these. Well, I've gotten 2 of the lights done, and upon wiring this, I realized I didn't bring enough connectors, so no big deal. I think 2 of them will be plenty of light after hooking them up. I figured out. Obviously, we'll figure out tonight. Heater's still running. We just had the back of the truck opened up, but I mean, I could just keep checking at 46. For the most part, it stayed about 52, 55. So I just wired under everything for now, because this is a real temporary thing just for this weekend. So turn the power of the panel on, and this is the switch I ran these lights to. So a lot of light in here. And then if I needed more too, I have this light on the end of it that I use for when I'm out camping and stuff. So puts about a 1/2 volt draw. I had this battery on the charger overnight last night, not just on a tender charger. So shut that off, and then this is the power to the panel. Hit it on this switch, but it seemed like it was losing voltage really quick, and I found out that this switch has gone bad, probably because I left it out in the little bit of ice rain on my off-grid cabin winter camping series. So really cool. I'm gonna just probably hang out in here because it's still dropping out there. They're building a little wall behind the fire out there just to try to hold the heat and then have a windbreak because the wind's starting to rip pretty good across. So obviously in here, this is pretty awesome. Pretty warm. I'm pretty happy with it. My spot on the bed from when I opened this and it was raining earlier is about dried up. I'm comfortable in here in a sweatshirt now, and I'm just gonna hang out in here and enjoy the little bit of warmth that I have. It's already up to 48. I'm just gonna keep checking it. Really like these light system, all on one switch. Eventually I want to have the two in the front of the cab on a switch, and then the two back here in the rear of the bed on a switch right inside the cap up here. That way if I'm loading tools or something for work, I can just reach up and hit that switch. Like I said before, this one does come with it's got a little switch to it, but I'm not too confident in the performance of that light because if I'm working or even if I'm camping, I want to be able to see what I'm doing. There's nothing more frustrating than not being able to see. So. Well, if you're new to my channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button because obviously that helps me out a lot. But I use the same kind of bedding for the majority. I mean, even if I was in a tent, I would bring this blanket. I always bring this blanket. I fold it in half on my cot. It has more or less a barrier just to hold some heat from coming up, the cold from coming up underneath. And then I have two sleeping bags. Whether it gets cold or not in here, which I'm feeling okay about it, but it is supposed to be a low of 7 degrees tonight. So I'm gonna still plan on using 2 sleeping bags, and I usually put my money on this one. It was given to me as a gift. The outside of it is called High Adventure, and it's in this compression sack. I think it's more for backpacking. But my sister-in-law and brother-in-law gave this to me when I started my YouTube channel, and it's been the best sleeping bag that I've ever used. It's really lightweight, and it's more or less one of those hooded mummy sleeping bags. And if you guys have ever seen me, I have no hair, so that comes in handy when you're camping. So I'll put this one inside of this black one. This black one is just a cheap sleeping bag. So tonight, since I think I have about the majority of my cab has the most room in it out of the 3 of our trucks. We're gonna hang out here and play cards tonight. But I kind of like this, the heater here. It's not warm to touch at all, but I can use this as my end table, more or less. And in my battery box, I can put my charger for my phone and charge my phone overnight. So, I mean, I do have 110 right there, so I could use that, but I don't have a charging block for my phone with me. So 51 degrees. I'm just gonna hang out, enjoy this. It's kind of funny. I'm just kind of looking out, and I can see the top of Andy's head out there, and he's just sitting out in the cold. It's pretty funny. What is up, everyone? We are dealing with about 30 mile an hour wind right now, and it is dropping fast. It's probably 26 degrees Fahrenheit right now. It is cold out there. We built a kind of a wall on the other side of our fire that we have to cook on just to be able to use the fire. So we are going to try to keep that up. Otherwise, I think we're going to just have to hang out in the truck bed for tonight. So I tried to film a little bit out there, but I just don't have enough lights that can withstand that cold. So came into my truck bed, and currently it is 42 degrees in here. I have my coveralls on. I have fleece lined jeans on, 2 coats and a sweatshirt. It's pretty cold, and it's only 26 right now. That wind is just cutting right through me, so I'll keep updating you and let you know how tonight goes. Well, it's currently like 8 o'clock at night. The fire's still going outside, but we cannot stand it anymore. It's time to hunker down and try to stay warm. It's currently like 24 degrees outside. Like 30 to 35 mile an hour winds and like 40 mile an hour gusts currently. The heater's been running on like low for a while, and it's only 36 in here, so I'm hoping I'll stay warm enough tonight. Andy and Austin are going to be coming in here soon to just kind of hang out and play cards somewhere out of the wind. Well, I think we're going to just play cards the rest of the night. You got Austin and Andy in here. We're just hanging out in my truck. Lights are working out pretty well. Battery box is still reading 12.6 volts, so we'll see you guys in the morning. Cheers. I'm not ready to go outside yet. Held pretty warm in here last night. Frost from where my boots sat off of the carpet. I think any upgrades that I might do is definitely some sort of insulation or like Reflectix on the windows, because that's where the majority of the cold's coming through. I think I have a leg up because it's already carpeted in here from factory, but definitely need to do something over the windows, even if it's like a moving blanket or something like that. I think I got down to about 8 or 9 degrees. The wind's still pretty crazy, but it looks like it calmed down too. I opened the tailgate. Ice forming all the way down my tail light, up against the tailgate. Frozen truck. Austin's is frozen. It is cold. Well, everyone, that was my first time truck camping in this truck, and I think it was a pretty good night. Slept really good. It got down to around 7 degrees. Currently it's 9 degrees. I thought it was warmer this morning, but it was definitely not. I don't know what I was reading, but I'm gonna get home. I actually just stopped at work and did a little plant check. Checked on my engines, and I think I'm going to make a couple improvements. I think that's part of getting started with truck camping. Definitely need to figure out what exactly you need to do, but I'm going to probably put something for insulation, especially when it's this cold. But I mean, it stayed like 47 degrees in there all night, and I had the heater. I ended up turning the heater on high. Woke up once at like 3 in the morning, and the heater was on low, and it was holding at like 37 degrees. So that was a bit cold. Not too bad for 2 sleeping bags, but I was pretty happy with it either way. So I'm gonna get going. Again, I'm Justin with JB Outdoors, and always remember, spend more time outdoors. I haven't been saying that lately, and I don't know why, because that's kind of like what I like to try to tell everybody. Spend more time outdoors. If you're new here, please hit that like, subscribe, comment down below your favorite part of the video. If you want to see more truck camping, please comment down below. And I will obviously see you guys on the next one.